Hello friends, welcome to Examity and Smriti Notes for Biotechnology. In today's lecture, we will be studying about applications of cell culture with respect to vaccines and their types. The very first question that comes into our mind is, why do we create vaccines? Vaccines are basically created so that your immune system responds to the germs and your immune system becomes strong after taking the vaccine to fight against the infection. So let's study what vaccine is. Vaccine is a biological preparation that improves the immunity to a particular disease, and this is basically created by using dead or inactivated forms of microbes. They are of different types: traditional, recombinant, and novel vaccines, and under these comes subunits like live vaccines, attenuated, inactivated. So now let's start with live vaccines, which are of two types, that is attenuated and inactivated vaccines. First is attenuated vaccines. This type of vaccine means that they contain a version of living microbe that has been weakened in the lab so that it does not cause any further disease. They help to create a strong and a long-lasting immune response. Some common examples are of mumps, smallpox, chickenpox, or yellow fever. I have drawn the diagram which shows its structure. It has various advantages as it increases the capacity for prolonged growth. It also requires single immunization. It produces humoral and cell mediated immunity, along with certain disadvantages as well. That is, in presence of other viruses, it gets contaminated. Occasional presence of wild virulent pathogen, and so on. Now, next is inactivated vaccine. This type of vaccines are produced by killing the disease causing microbes with chemicals, heat, or radiation, and such types of vaccines are more stable and safe than live vaccines. And some of its examples are like polio, flu, hepatitis A, and rabies. It also has some disadvantages and advantages. Advantages like it is very stable and better than the live vaccine. Now next is subunit vaccine, which is also called as live recombinant vaccine. As the term subunit means only a part of vaccine is used. That means instead of the entire microbe, subunit vaccine includes only the antigen which can best stimulate the immune system. Such types of vaccines are only specific pieces of the germ. They give a very strong immune response that's targeted to key part of the germs. Some common examples are hepatitis B, HPV, that is human papillomavirus, and etc. Now next vaccine is toxoid vaccine. Toxoid vaccines use basically a toxin, that means a harmful product that is made by the germ and that causes a disease. They create immunity to the part of the germ that causes a disease instead of the germ itself. Some very common examples are diphtheria and tetanus. These types of vaccines do not produce long-lasting immunity, so you may need boosters, shots to get ongoing protection against the disease. Now, the next type is recombinant vaccine. Under recombinant vaccines, three types are there: recombinant vector vaccines, live recombinant, and DNA vaccines. So let's start with DNA vaccines. DNA vaccines are easy, inexpensive to make, and they produce strong and basically long-term immunity. DNA vaccination is a technique basically that helps in protecting against diseases by injection with genetically engineered plasmid containing the DNA sequence, which encodes the antigen against an immune system. Basically जैसे हम जीन ट्रांसफ़र करते हैं वैसे ही हम कोई जीन ट्रांसफ़र करते हैं जो हमें हेल्प करता है फाइट करने में अगेंस्ट द इन्फेक्शन. I have drawn some flowcharts which shows how a pathogen is isolated from a gene, and then the gene of interest is produced by the bacteria for purification of plasmid and then injected into the animal again. And some of the advantages are also mentioned below. And some examples of DNA vaccine are influenza vaccine. Now the next type of recombinant vaccine is recombinant vector vaccine. Recombinant vector vaccines are basically similar to DNA vaccines, but they use an attenuated virus or bacteria to introduce microbial DNA to cells of the body. And here vector refers to the virus used as the carrier. This is the diagram which shows virus vector, that is adenovirus, and influenza gene is being expressed. Again with a flow chart, I'm explaining the process. As you can see, I'm using again and again flow charts for explaining my answers. So do keep in mind to use flow charts as many as possible. For recombinant vector vaccines, we identify and isolate a specific gene from virulent bacteria, and that gene is inserted into plasmid DNA and ligated with the enzyme ligase. Now we obtain a new plasmid which is inserted into another bacterium, and it is allowed to grow and actually produce antigenic proteins. These type of vaccines basically act like a natural infection, so they are especially good at teaching the immune system how to fight against germs. Now, the last type of vaccine is synthetic peptide vaccines. It is the vaccine in which peptide of the original pathogen is used to immunize an organism. The very common example is foot and mouth disease. It has various advantages like they are stable and very cheap. Their antigens are precisely defined and free from unnecessary components which may be associated with side effects. Synthetic peptides do not readily stimulate T cells, and its disadvantages include that only one peptide is used, so other isotopes of pathogen may not be recognized by immune system. And it also requires boosters again and again. So in this lecture we studied about vaccines and their types. The main problem which Amity students face is what exactly to write, because we do not find particular matter at one place. We have to surf the net and go through 2-3 links and then make the final notes. So basically I'm providing you with my notes which are made using the book as well as some important links. So do go through them. If you find any problem or any doubts, do comment and let me know. And do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.